just nice.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm Wesley Lester. This is the Integrated Podcast, Integrated OKC, however you like to say it. And I'm seated here with little homie Liv, as I've termed her in this last little 10, 15, 20 minutes that we've been hanging out.
We're vibing.
So, mad vibes. We've already pretty much have an album going now. So
Yes, in the works for sure.
Please, tell us who you are.
My name is Olivia. I am Komahcheet and Oto from Topeka, Kansas and Oklahoma. And I am a multi-instrumentalist, score composer, visionary, artist, creative. And I am here with you today, going to chat about all things, everything.
Yeah.
And looking forward to it.
That's pretty much what we do here. Like,
yeah.
I don't limit anybody's conversation. I just really wanted to have you on because, like, literally from the first moment I saw you on stage, I was like, yo, this person's a homie. I was actually doing this piece over here, Color of Art, for, like, Daniel's
I love it.
thing. Like, was a few weeks to a month, some months ago or something like that. And I was like, yo, you got to be on the cast, like, one of the few, because you're dope. And you don't see, like, many female Native American multi-instrumentalists out here, which is insane. We need way more female Native American multi-instrumentalists on the game.
It's really fun. They're definitely out there, but it's one of those things where you're paving the way for a lot of creatives to, you know, have the courage to really go out there and pick up various instruments versus sticking to one.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, when I first met you too, I was like, oh snap, okay, Wesley's cool. Let's get it. Yeah.
Yes. When did we first meet? When was this?
It was at Color of Art, I think. Right.
Yeah. For a split second, I don't even think you can really call that meeting. Honestly.
Yeah, it was like it was that dap me up, and then it was like, I'll get you on the IG, and
yes,
it was from there. So
exactly. Yeah. I think I was like, I have my business card. It's got my QR code on it.
You gave me like 3 of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, he's serious.
Pass these
out.
Yeah. If you lose one, cool. If you lose 2,
you got another.
That's why you buy 1,000 of them. You get them cheaper.
This is true.
Buy 1,000 of them, and then you just hand them out like candy.
Yeah.
You know,
it's good to go.
I'll get you some QR code stickers before you leave.
Yes, I would love it. I usually stick all of my homies' decals on like gas station, you know, different spots. So, you know,
it's an insane marketing prodigy. I'm gonna call it that. It's a marketing prodigy because I give it out to people and I have no clue where they're gonna stick the stickers.
Guerrilla marketing at its finest, I would say.
Man, yeah. I've had people DM me on Instagram because they have seen my sticker on like the escalators. At San Francisco airport, you know? So it's just like,
yeah.
Big and going around.
You never know.
Okay, so tell us what you play.
So I play violin, viola, cello, guitar.
Violin, viola, cello.
Violin. It's essentially the same instrument, but it's different.
To everybody else, it looks like 3 different instruments.
Right. So the cello's the big guy. You know, not the big bass.
Right.
But
that's like an upright kind of like.
Right. And
cello's like medium.
Cello, you sit down. Okay. Yeah, it's like my favorite sound if I had to choose of the strings, the orchestra strings. But yeah, violin, started off with viola, then transitioned over to cello, violin, and then really got obsessed with guitar down the road. Piano has always been there, and singing was probably the last thing that I started doing. And then, if you would call it like the producing, composing part as an instrument itself, it's a whole nother thing. Kind of like singing and playing at the same time is a whole nother thing.
Yeah, tell me about that. Tell me about that a lot.
Yeah, so
that was one of the things that definitely entranced me whenever you're playing. Like, if I could pick out, is when you're doing the loop, it was the mix of like the energy of the guitar and then the mix of like your voice over it, you know? So like for you to say that, those are literally the 2 things that I was like, those 2 things are like some of the dopes. And then you pulled out your violin and other shit. I was like, okay, that's dope too. But like, you know.
Yeah.
Just my ear to be like, hold up. You know, if I wasn't looking at you, you know what I mean? I'm like, hold up. Where's this dope guitar? And there's
it's
voices?
All meshing together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole other instrument, I feel like, you know? Like, I found myself just allowing my interests to just, if I found, okay, violin's really cool, I would just get obsessed with it. And then I would just dive in 3 hours a day. Guitar was the same way. Cello was the same way. I was just really enthralled with the sound and practicing, the art of practicing. Yeah. And then would start hearing...
Enthralled, great word.
It is a good word. It's just like encapsulates. I'm pulling all of my fancy words out for this podcast.
I mean, this is the vocal part of the experience.
I'm just really flexing, right now. That's the only like flex that I got. So the rest of the time it's gonna be like really basic. But no, it's a lot of just allowing myself to dive deep into it and then be obsessed with it. And then I found myself, okay, I have all these palettes to work with. What do I want to like create from there? Because now I have ideas. And so now I'm finding myself in this place where I'm like, oh, a loop station kind of gets all my ideas out on paper into the air. And so, yeah, it was slowly kind of compiling all of these talents and then being like, I want to make like actually full-fledged songs instead of these riffs and repeating everything all the time.
I feel that so hard. I do that a lot.
Yeah, so it's fun. But it's also like, okay, I want to do this for like the rest of my life. I want to make money doing it. Right. I want to, I have other things expanding. Right. And then
what's the next step? What's the next level? Like,
So loop station, composing, learning Ableton, and then the RC505. MK2 currently is what I have for my live sets, is what you saw the night that we met. Okay. Was like, had the sliders. I have it today, but it's essentially what I use for my live performances, looping. So.
Okay, cool. I mean, I have a loop pedal, and then Nick, the pedal that we were talking about also had a looping, but I hadn't even played with that yet. Yeah. So, like, I'm better with the boss,
Yes.
That's like my tried and true. Yes. Until I, move up to like a two or three channel, like, track looper. Yeah. Until then, like, I'm learning songs, but I'm doing it on this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes if you like buy a big Honkin like 10 channel, it's like it gets a little too, too much, intimidating. So the one looper is great.
Right.
I think it's great.
So that's cool, man. So so you started basically more on viola and just kind of like mixing in all these different instruments through life, and then anytime you wanted to, you didn't limit yourself. It sounds like.
Right. Unknowingly, it was just like, I really like this thing and I'm not going to, overthink it. Or there was no, like, as a kid, you're not thinking, okay, I'm going to strategize my career. It's like, this is fun. I like this more than movies and games. And the feeling of being very stimulated with an instrument is something I was just like, well, I like it, so let's do it.
Right. I totally agree. Just with all the stuff, art, music. Right. Podcasting, video editing. I was just like, I totally get that. Like, when you want to learn something, you're like, well, I'm gonna figure it out then. Yeah. So how did you get through that learning? Did you have like books, YouTube, friends?
That's a great question.
YouTube University?
Yeah, it really was. Yo, I shout out YouTube University. Yo, it really gets you to point A, point B sometimes. I would say it had to do with my environment, the family around me.
Oh, so they're musical.
Yeah. My family's musical. They were in a metal band when I was a kid. Oh, okay. Yeah. So they were like, my dad would more so show me different things here and there, but he was a big inspiration because he was always gone, band practice or weekends performing or touring or busy with merch and printing or whatever, like band things. And, they were there, but they were off like hustling and bustling doing the thing. Right. And so my grandma would come over and then she would be like, hey, let's learn this dance, or hey, let's get on the piano, learn the boogie woogie. That was like her big thing.
Woogie. Yeah. Maybe we gotta see the boogie woogie. I gotta. That's a boogie woogie.
Yeah. It was like, it's like this honky tonk blues kind of jig on the piano, but yeah. I'll learn the boogie woogie, yo. We killed that shit, and then
you had me off there. I'm not lying. You had me off kilter for a second. I thought the boogie woogie was a dance.
The Halloween. Oh, it could be. Like, I'm sure it is.
I'm saying like the Dougie, but old school Dougie is the boogie
like
woogie.
It's just Halloween kind of like,
Everybody knows the boogie woogie. Anybody who plays piano and has like that,
I don't know why she called it it could be an actual.
If you look in like piano books, there's always guaranteed a blues song called Boogie Woogie. No lie. I mean, I swear.
You're not wrong.
When I get comments, look, I'm telling you, people in the comments, tell us how many times you've seen Boogie Woogie in like a beginner adult.
BW. Yeah, so like, shout out Boogie Woogie. That carried me for years on end. Look, but
we're not gonna limit ourselves on tangents here, Olivia. Okay? Yeah, let's just talking about like, what I'm saying. I see you trying to get
that. That's it. Shout out Boogie Woogie.
Hey, look, you're like, hey, deuces Boogie Woogie.
Yeah. Transitions to just playing Boogie Woogie.
All right.
End of show.
Right.
Yeah, so it was boogie woogie, you know. It was that. It was my grandma. It was my dad, and then it was I had a really great teacher in school that inspired me to. She like pulled some of the kids aside and was like, "Hey, yo, y'all are the cream of the crop," and it was just like, "Ooh, yeah." So I just. It had to do with that. It was little, you know, just random moments in life where I'm just like, ooh, okay, they're actually like, you know, making this fun to pursue persistently. And then also I had a moment where I first picked up the viola, and this was probably like 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in. My teacher in the 3rd grade, shout out Miss Vincent, she was... she said, half of you, 3/4 of y'all are not going to be here. Like, violin, orchestra is a very hard instrument. Like, just, it's very unforgiving. So I can bet more than half of y'all are not going to be here by the end of the week because you're going to sound like booty for like a whole year before you start getting good. And it's just like how it is. And so I just remember thinking that like, I'm going to keep going or like, you know, just keep, you know, vibing with it, I guess, and practice. But she said, practice during, like, in between commercials, you know, when you would watch cable and, you know, you had SpongeBob and the 15-minute commercials, 10-minute commercials, practice in between then. And so I do that.
Take notes,
you know, it's just like the little things, you know, practice in between. And then there was this one day I got back home from school and I had my instrument. I was at my aunt's house. I unpacked my instrument and we were learning that one dreidel song. The dreidel, 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 da 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 da. It's like this Thanksgiving,
I don't know
Christmas
that one
theme.
But
It's like this.
No, it's okay. It sounds familiar. I remember.
It's very simple. Like Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Right.
You know.
Super simple.
Yeah, and so I just remember like. I don't know what it was. I just sat myself down and I felt like I went into this flow of practicing for like an hour, 2 hours as a 9-year-old with no one else like telling me, hey, you should practice your instrument or hey, you know, you haven't practiced anything. It was just all like self-induced, just, hey, I'm going to practice this even longer. And then I remember when I finished, I was like, this amount of like self-worth and just appreciation I had for getting lost in the sauce, if you will.
Yeah.
For practicing and just getting better at something.
Getting lost in learning.
Yeah.
You're getting enthralled by the learning process.
I don't know what it was. It was just that moment of like, dang, I really like that feeling.
Yeah.
And it was like reaching a height of like, whenever I practice now, like I'm going to try and achieve. It was like a weird tapping into the flow or something.
I totally understand where you're coming from. And this is what I tell, because I'll teach guitar to like kids and stuff, because this is what I did. Yeah. I just like, start for 10 minutes. Literally just pick something you want to do, like a song you want to learn, do it for 10 minutes, because what happened to me, and it may not happen to them, because sometimes that's my mistake too. I'll assume that what I do, we're just extreme people, because like I played Over the Hills and Far Away till my fingers bled.
Ooh, yes.
Again, like I was like, and you know, that song is not easy to do. You know, we're in Oklahoma, everybody's listening to like straight up classic rock. Right. It's always
Red Dirt,
KP, AFK, whatever that one
was. Yes.
So I listened to a lot of Led Zeppelin, and like that's definitely not one that's like start on when you're just learning guitar. Right. When you probably learned like Brain Stew the day before.
Right. Yeah. It was for me. It was a Crossroads with you know, Steve Vai. It was that solo where I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to learn that so bad. Like the Ralph Macchio on guitar. Yeah, learning that solo. The Trick Bag song, Steve Vai's Trick Bag. And playing that just over and over and over and over.
Those guys, Steve Vai's amazing.
Crazy.
Who's some of your favorite musicians who have like inspired you and like influenced you?
It always kind of changes, but I find that I'll kind of pick different pieces of people's talent and like the different things that they bring to the table that's unique. Like Tim Henson from Polyphia is like one of my favorite guitarists just because of the new genre that they kind of bring on, and it's like I don't know how to describe it.
Wait, okay. That's like the really diverse group of guys, right?
They're like math rock, progressive math rock.
So the guitarist, like he'll post a video of him doing the song and it gets like 3 million views, like in 24 hours. That guy.
Yeah, he's got like a neck tattoo. He's got the whole anime vibe going.
Yeah.
So
it looks like he walked out of Tokyo Ghoul.
Exactly. Yes, that guy.
He does
He's super cool. I've seen them live a few times, and so him, and then I would say FKJ for producer. Masego's great.
Yeah.
You know, and then anyone that kind of is underground, I really appreciate, but I never remember the names because it's like, you know, pulling from all these different artists. Don't remember the names at the top of my head,
hey, man,
but
I'll throw you some artists.
You know?
I already threw you one song.
yeah, I love it.
Struck, dude.
Yeah, Shazam that bad boy. So, yeah, I would say just different. I was having a conversation with my friend Cage yesterday, and he was like, there's all these people that know like the dates and the artist names and like when they, you know, became famous and when they released this album. And something that I could relate on with him was it's like these specific moments in the song that I'm like obsessed with, and I'll burn myself out on listening to it, and then I'm like on to the next thing.
Right. But you have that in your mind. I get that. I get that. I listen to songs to analyze them.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. I listen like it's not, I don't really hear the lyrics. I do hear the lyrics, but it's like very secondary. First off, it's like first 10 seconds, and then how the frequencies like kind of sound in my ear holes. I'm like, okay, is this like different? How does this make me feel?
That's next level.
You know, I don't know how to describe that, but
that's next
it's
level.
just like,
that's how you describe it.
it's fun. That's just how I've always kind of like, if it makes me feel like out of this world a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Then
I
I'm
get
like,
that.
ooh, okay.
There's something different. Like when you're hearing music, you could just be listening to it. You might catch the word or something, but that's like, to me, like not necessarily a low level listening, but like you're kind of listening, but you're not accepting all the information that's coming on, you know.
Right.
And you get to the point where you're like, okay, I can pick out different instruments, or I can listen to what this instrument is doing over the top this instrument and how that relates to the beat. You know, maybe that like, okay, on the 3, you know, they're hitting the snare in a certain way, different than the next beat versus what the guitar and that marriage of that, you know.
Right.
And it sounds like what you're saying is even next, like, because, you know, there's a certain kind of song that has to hit you where it gives a chill down your spine, or if like, you know, they just hit that perfect chord with that perfect effect. It's like the signal's just wet enough in the right way. It's like, what did you just do?
I don't know. It's just that magic sauce that they put on it, and it's something I have no words for it, but it just, when I have that feeling, then I'm like, okay, I really like this thing. Yeah.
I'm identify with that.
Yeah.
And trying to recreate that. I think you're doing a great job recreating that.
Thank
as far
you.
as connecting with that, you know, that's definitely, you're saying enthralled with the learning process. I totally believe. You know, the more you study just what you listen to, you're an average of the top 5 people you hang out with for the most part. And same thing with your hearing, you know, you're listening, top 5 people you're listening to.
Yes.
Is likely going to be the vibe you come out with.
It's fun. I don't know. It's just like,
you spend a lot of time with yourself, so that's amazing.
This is also crazy. Yes.
You know,
but I mean,
I'm just listening to I'm listening to the story. I'm not saying you're like a shut.
No, you're a great listener, because a lot of what I've grown up.
I'm a great listener. Thank you.
You know, you are a great listener, and like that's what I forget to tell people. Like, I was kind of like locked in my room by choice, because I would just like, I'd go to like birthday parties and stuff, but it wasn't like this thing where I wasn't super social as a kid, very shy. If you met me when I was like 15, you'd be like, I'm worried.
I understand. I'm literally.
I mean, everyone at 15, you know what I'm saying?
Everybody's awkward. Everybody's weird. But you know, like when
but
like the shut-in kids, you're like, okay, I was.
You should be concerned. Yeah, I was definitely a shut-in, very hermit-like, very much like. I was afraid to go into like Dollar General or like the mall or go see a movie in fear that I was going to see some of my peers, because I was homeschooled at the time. So homeschooling is a very much like...
That makes it even worse, because then you're not hanging out with people every day.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, you know, you can't... Well,
you don't go to homecoming, or you don't go to prom. It's like...
You don't even know the clubs that are happening.
Yeah. You don't... You're not in.
You're like, y'all do that? I didn't know that was a school thing.
Exactly. It's just very stigmatized. And what's even worse is that, you know, your parents are usually the ones like, oh, we should homeschool our, you know, kid. No, it was me, because I had so much social anxiety. I was like, hey, mom and dad, can I get homeschooled? Because I hate interacting with people my age. So it was just a compound of like...
People suck. Sometimes people suck. And I don't know history. I can talk to you, but I don't know the amalgamation of your entire community at that time.
Right.
Sometimes, like, I had a different. I relate what you're saying because I did the same thing, but not necessarily, not to that extreme. You know, what I mean, this is where my operating boundary was, and I think I'm coining that term.
Okay.
Operating
Yes,
boundaries.
I love it.
This is where I was at.
Stealing
the moment. You can do feel free. So I was the person that knew everybody at my school, but didn't really like super sink into any one group. I was also a gymnast for 10 years, so it was like it's like I didn't have time to do the clubs, even though I knew about them. I would be late for gymnastics because of school, which ended at 2:45.
Got it.
Which is pretty early in the day, and then I'm up at the gym for like 3-4 hours. So you know what I'm saying? It's like that's in its own thing and obsession.
Dabbler, you know people, but not no.
Right. Okay. So I go to some parties, but not really. Not that I couldn't go, but
you'd show up, show face,
and then I'm cruising.
I gotta go. Right. Yeah, exactly. I like to roll like that too.
And there's like certain people that I kick it with. And when I kick it hard. With
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not down with the bull crap, really, mostly, and I really only mess with as real people as I can get to, and I think, from what you're saying and what I know from my own experience, those are people who have become resilient in their like in their self image, their self consciousness, their self confidence, and just in self esteem, in all facets of self, they become resilient. Right. Just know who they are. So it's like, okay, I don't care what you're doing. I'm gonna still operate within me, regardless of what you're doing. So then it's like, you really have this cool, diverse group of people that.
I love that. I never heard it described that way. It's like you can rock on your own, and you start going to these places on your own, and you're cool with it. Versus a lot of people have a lot of anxiety over just going to a movie by themselves or eating at the same table. I love that shit. I love going to some Thai food and being like, I'm chilling.
Right. You're just like, and then maybe that's like the foundations of being alone together. Which is like, I'm totally down with that. As a dude, y'all know what I mean. I don't want to be alone. Y'all can be in the house somewhere.
Yeah,
But also, when you're together, it's like, I'm myself and you're yourself.
Yes.
And, so there's something that happens above it. You know what I'm saying? There's like, what's it called? That phrase, you're greater than the summation of your parts.
I've never heard that.
Well, basically what it means is like, okay, if I took you apart right now, you've like a heart and like an arm and like a fingernail and a pile of hair over here. Yes. But none of that singularly makes a human. It makes Olivia that plays music and, had her whole life experience. It's just an arm and some bones and a tuft of hair. You know what I'm saying? Right. But when you put all those things together in this specific, grouping, you get all this and you get all that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like you're greater than the summation of your parts.
I love that.
You see the parts are like your hair and your bones and whatever, but the summation is way more.
I love that. Yeah,
infinitely more.
It makes this essence and this soul that it's just like
word. You
can't describe it. I don't know. It's this magic.
So I think the same thing happens.
Creators,
right? Yeah. Thank creator.
No,
thank you, creator. We still here.
We're really still here.
We really still here, man. Yeah, we doing it. We really still here. God damn. Absolute. So, I totally think it's the same. You have, people that are hanging out. You have a good group of people. And, each person together. If everyone can rock on their own and be cool and just, stay chill, be able to handle the bull crap that comes.
Love that.
Then it's, greater.
Yeah, absolutely. You can be your own individual self, walk away, still be whole. You don't need anyone else to complete you.
And then the group is dope.
This is cool. The group is dope. Finding someone that's it's feeding on its own energy and compounding. But yeah, when you get in a group, it's not giving that, or you have a weird vibe. It's like, okay, y'all are cool, acquaintance. We chilling. I know you, you know me, but I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go get some Taco Bell.
Right. I'm gonna get some Thai food.
Some Thai food,
Taco Bell. You can get Taco Bell. I'm not mad at you.
Taco Bell's if there's nothing else open.
This is not sponsored by Taco Bell, by the way.
It's not.
I'm about to cut this out.
No.
Not yet. Taco Bell, I got someone who's gonna make your next jingle. Literally right here. You know what I'm saying? Scores.
This is the part where we go into this freestyle segment. Yo, Taco Bell. What the hell? Yeah. Got the sweets and swells.
Oh, don't lose it now just because this ain't recorded. You can fast forward.
Yeah. We haven't been recording the whole time, actually.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I thought that's what you're.
Don't do me like that, bro. I was like, I'm pretty sure I hit all the buttons.
That was. All waiting for it to blank.
No, it's going, bro. We've been going for half an hour.
That's crazy. Damn. It feels like 10 minutes.
25. Look, it says 25 minutes.
That's crazy.
So, look, time flies. We're having fun.
We're chilling.
I told you. Didn't I tell you?
If you like that.
I was like, look, we're going to be sitting here, and I wanted this to be 10 minutes, and we're going to be here for 2.5 hours.
We'd be talking like, if it was 10 minutes, yeah.
No, it's cool. Yeah. It's good energies, man. So
through and through.
Man.
Through and through. No, I really like how you tapped into the subject of being on your own, like the importance of that. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was, but I just know I was quiet. Mm-hmm. And then instruments were really my best friend. And then I was like, okay, well, I had to force myself to like go to Toastmasters and like actually, okay, if I want to pursue going to shows and talking to people and getting out of my comfort zone in that way, it was like this forced thing.
What's Toastmasters?
Toastmasters is like
familiar, sort of. But
it's like when you go to this meeting and you learn how to make toast, like jam. Spread the jam on the bread.
Oh, like literally Toastmasters.
No.
Okay, I was like, I was gonna let you rock with that. I'm not gonna lie.
It sounds like that's what it would be.
Is it like some poetry thing?
It kind of
writing
a little bit. It's improv, public speaking.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you know when you go up and make a toast, ding 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 ding. Yeah. Hello. Yes, I'm going to make a toast too.
So basically, what we're doing right now.
Right.
But with more steps.
Right, it's a lot more intentional. You have random subjects. You have like this workbook you work out of, and then there's a lot of local people. Whether you're on like different people from the 7 News or like military, you have different people who are trying to work on, just polish their skills with talking to people and random subjects, whatever. And I was like definitely the youngest kid, the youngest person in that group. Whenever I would go to Toastmasters, it was like, okay, like where are you coming from?
In like some
just like they have public one. They have like an international convention you can go to. They have different ones in different towns. So OKC probably has like 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then Lawton had 1 or 2. One early in the morning, and then one like in the evening at a coffee shop. So you'd go every like Tuesday and Thursday or weekly. And
that's cool.
And then you'd go, but it was like a 4. Yeah, you got to try.
I gotta do it. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like you'd like it. It's free, unless you want to get the workbook. Then it's like a little bit of moolah, but not crazy. Yeah. And it's helpful. I feel like it's helped if I didn't go to it or just practice getting out of my comfort zone in general. Yeah. Like I'd still make it work, but it does help being able to translate language and be able to communicate in that way.
It's definitely a muscle that you build.
Yeah.
It's definitely muscle. Like,
yeah, it was intentional.
Like comedians, that's why they're some of the best, speakers and conversationalists. Because literally just, all right, here I am.
Let's get it. What we taught was good.
And you do that every day.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not you get paid or
I don't know.
Like,
is it for you? Is there like different language? Like you are an artist, muralist, and then you play instruments, you do all these things, very versatile and interdisciplinary. But when it comes to the social skill, it's always like this thing where it was like it's I don't want to say I'm bad at it, but I definitely don't feel like it's my first language, if you will.
Are you asking me a question right now?
Yeah. Like, do you feel like that? Or is that something you resonate with?
Do I feel like it's my first lange?
Do you feel like the English language is like very foreign in a way? Communicating.
Sort of. Like, and what I pointed out about you being resilient is something I relate with. Like, because clearly, like, I can't be out in the world and be painting in my studio while also learning how to do guitar, like, outside.
Right.
I'm self-taught with art. I'm self-taught with guitar. I've had teachers, but they're like friends. So each one maybe hands me a little tidbit. Here's a couple chords or something. Here's like a scale. And I'm like, I'm maybe stretched out over like 6-7 months, and I'm doing all this research, YouTube University, Google. And what happens when you're doing your own research is you do a general. So like you're curious about one thing, where if you knew somebody, you could just be like, hey, I'm curious about this one part of the music. But then you don't know. So you're like, okay, what's a fifth, and then you have to learn all about chord structure and chord formula and like all this stuff. Third, fifth, like you flat the fifth for a diminish, or like flat the third for a minor. And
you feel so small when it's like everyone is throwing down all this knowledge.
Right.
And it's like,
well, nobody was throwing anything to me. It's like I was reading it on the internet, and nobody left or right to be like, well, what do you think about this? I just okay, well, I guess that's just the answer until. So some things wouldn't even dawn on me. Like I would read it, I would know it, and I wouldn't understand it until later. And I would be having these conversations where people would be like, "You know a lot about music theory." And I'm like, "What the fuck? What are you talking about?"
Right.
I don't know anything about music. They're like, "Well, actually, you just named the third, fifth, whatever. You just harmonized a major scale. You know how to turn them into numerals. It's like 1, 4, 5 in this key. Switch it to that key. You understand modulation and all this stuff." And I was like, "Yeah," because I was curious about one little thing, and then I had to go through all of this other junk to then find out this one thing. Is like, okay, so I have all that other experiential knowledge about all the other junk.
Yes.
So no, absolutely not. And when I went to college at Oklahoma State University. So I got a degree in biology, and
wow.
So I was like good with math and stuff like that, and like, but I was horrible social anxiety. I was good with my friends.
Yeah.
Again, that's the other part about being a gymnast is like you're in the gym for almost as much as you're in school, half as much. But those are just the same 3 people or 4 people because it's like violin. You're not. It's like you're gonna get out of here in like a week because you sound like crap.
Right.
In gymnastics, it's like, oh, you're gonna be out of here after like intermediate.
Right.
So they have like beginner and then intermediate, and those are like for kids and like young adults. And then if you start competing, it starts at level 4 and whatever. And so you probably won't get past level 4 or 5 if you're not like just
really going for
love it. Yeah. Because you're probably gonna just hurt yourself or it's just a whole lot of discipline and a whole lot of work.
It is. It
you
is.
know what I mean? Like, so, I was good with my friends that I had to kick it with every day.
Right.
And then when it came to strangers,
core homies.
And so being in like a organic chemistry class at O State where there's like 600 people in this big auditorium, and there's one guy talking about fucking, alkyds.
The weather.
The weather. He's talking about alcohol. OH groups on the end of carbon, chains. I'm like, okay. Which I get the knowledge. I can sit and read a book all day.
Right.
Great.
If you don't have interest in it, I mean, like, I don't know.
I had interest in it. It was cool, but like, I had to I literally went to therapy so I could work on the social anxiety. Yeah. And then I, went there. They're like, oh, cool. You can do like $10 for a student. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll try it out, whatever. And then they paired me with this like small, like really skinny, like blonde mousy chick. Well, she was cool, but I don't think she was the right person to like be. Right.
She wasn't tapping in.
And they were like students, so that's part of why it was cheap too.
Okay, got it. Student on student, yeah. It's just like, okay.
So she gave me some breathing techniques, basically, that helped me get out of my own head. Okay. So a form of like meditation almost, or something to just level yourself out, get out of your body. Yeah, because when I get anxious, I get really in my head, and there's almost like this fuzzy wall that's created between me and like reality. Yes. Like I'm not thinking about like important things. I tend to lose stuff, or like don't know what my keys are, but only when I'm in that state. Yeah, it like seems to happen when it's really important for me to be focusing. Yes. Yeah. Like I don't know if that's like artist thing or what, but I can definitely relate to that as well. It might be. Yeah. It might be. We'll see. We'll have some therapists like they look at this part of the
for sure. Press pause. They'll analyze the whole thing. Hey, what do you guys think of that? We'll bring you back on. I feel that for sure. So actually, I wanted to ask you about the PAD thing. It was the PAD. Yes. What was that? I mean, how did you get into that? So I started applying for grants here and there like 2-3 years ago-ish. And then I got into this one with the Native Americans Arts and Cultures Foundation out of Oregon or Seattle, somewhere up there in the corner of the U.S. And that cold, wet part over there. Yeah. It's cool. It is cool. I would just get super sad boy hours over there if I lived there for a long period of time, so no hate. But yeah, so they're founded over there. Those sad boy lives for They're founded over there, and I had a grant that I did with them where I worked with some youth and, provided them art supplies, music, anything that they wanted that would help them facilitate, their journey forth and springboarding them into their art careers. And so I was working with them throughout the year, and then they said, hey, there's this big conference going on in New York City, and then COVID happened, so it was this thing where I connected with these people virtually. It was like this virtual conference. I don't like virtual it just doesn't hit the same,
Yeah,
it's just like...
It's not like being in front of people. I have experience, when you look at someone, you can tell if they're there.
It's like, it's this thing. So as soon as I found out it was virtual, I was like, okay, I'll tap in. But I really doubt anything is going to stem from this virtual thing just because it was confusing and whatever. It just was my personal preference. Like, it was like, okay, cool. So, the PAD program kind of stemmed from this virtual conference. I got a few emails from people after they saw my profile. I don't know how. I set it up. I put my bio, my profile picture, put my website on there, and I was like, all right, well, I'll set it up, see what happens. And then got a few emails. And then there was this one for the Western Arts Alliance program that went to this conference, and it was like, I don't even remember the actual name of the conference. It was like this National Arts Association thing. Something fancy in New York City. Yes.
You can add that to your...
So you have theater people, music, arts. Everyone's going to this thing to like network.
Definitely conglomeration. It's got to be.
Yeah. Absolutely. I can't even pronounce conglomeration. Conglomeration.
Look at you. We up. Educating.
Adding that to the vocab list for sure.
And
so
everybody else watching too, just like leveled up.
Conglomeration. It's just like on the screen.
Yeah, I'll put it on there. Actually, I'm gonna do this. if this.
I would love that.
If this part makes the edit, it'll go across the screen.
Yeah, it's just highlights, just the bouncing ball.
A zoom in.
Sing along song. Yes.
Like saying.
Zoom in on the lips. And yeah, it was pretty much that. It was a conglomeration.
Yeah.
No,
now that's gonna be great. Yeah, like that clip right there. Got him. Yeah.
And that's pretty much just random opportunity that happened, and I applied for it, and then they accepted.
So PAD. So what did they do? I think from what I heard on your story that you posted, it was cool. Like you had a whole setup in your room. They
it was crazy.
A bunch of equipment.
Yeah.
They were pretty much like, from what I read.
Yeah.
Like if you're ready to
tour internationally,
which is like, again,
like okay,
Kobe.
R.I.P. But yes,
Kobe.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was crazy. So it was went to the conference, got approved for that, had a Zoom call with them. They were like, hey, we really like your work, and let's do this. If you're down, let's set up a date. We're going to send you 3 cameras, a laptop, a bunch of cords, and we will walk you through the process of setting each camera up. And I'm talking like the gimbal and the whole, latching it onto it and tightening it and unloosening it was just like I turned into a whole I was the camera people.
They know what you're talking about. Like they're like, oh yeah, I hate doing that.
Yeah. It was all of that, and I was like, what am I doing? This is one of those moments in time where I'm like, I know this is gonna breed a lot of cool opportunity, but this is so random. Like you're sending me a box of equipment. And even at that, like...
But it's so cool. I mean, it sounds like it's right in your line of just like, well, I'm going to do whatever.
I just find myself in these weird moments of just like, it's a part of the plot, but it's very random and weird. So I have all of this equipment, and then I'm zooming, talking to these gentlemen that are pros at syncing the interface. They sent me like an interface that I plugged in, and they sent me like a network thing to connect to the internet, and then so they could level out all of the live sound with my performance, and then I would press record. And shout out my mom, she helped me out with pressing record and then angling.
Let's go, mom.
Shout out mom Christy. Moms are the bomb. So my mom helped me out, and then it was like yeah, it was this whole thing. I actually had to, the plan was to film in Colorado, and then it almost could have not happened because I got in a car accident and my car was totaled, and I was like, I need to find a new spot to do this with good internet.
Right.
And so it was either, do this at my parents' house with, sketchy internet, or I can get a rental car and like find another, it was just this thing. And so I was like, I'll just do it in my sister's room. So I got permission from my sister. Shout out my sister.
Yeah, there you go. See, like,
and she just gave me that look like, you mofo, you want to tear up my room. Like, she knew what she was getting. So her whole room was just like torn to shreds.
It was all like music equipment.
Cameras, cords. Yeah, it was like, it was everywhere. So
That's so awesome.
And then I had to leave immediately the next day. Like, I had to go somewhere, South Dakota for a show. And so I had to like pack up all my stuff. I was done at like 1 a.m. and then pack up all the camera stuff to be shipped back out to them. Right. So it was like all behind the scenes stuff that you don't see. But in the moment, I got video, press record. They made the video after it got shipped back to them. And now it's on this platform where a lot of different promoters overseas can see my performance and others to be like, hey, you trying to come to XYZ country? And so, I didn't even know it was released until like 2 days ago. I guess it's been out for like 2 months. Because I was like, I wonder when that's going to get done. And then, just kind of thinking about it. But yeah, so it's out.
I'm really waiting on this to come out.
Yeah, it'd be really cool if it did, But I got patience. I know they got a lot of artists to tend to. So I'm chilling.
Shout out to the pad team. You guys are great. You guys are killing the game.
Yeah. So it was a great experience, but definitely pushed me to my limits of like, what am I doing? But it worked. It worked.
You don't get anywhere. You're not growing if you're not comfortable.
This is facts for sure.
Dude, yesterday, I mean, aside from the pedal.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the things that happened here with my mixer, and it was just like, I was like not prepared, and like things were cropping up. Like, what do I do when this happens? Like, okay, well, my plan A got screwed, and I straight up did not have a plan B.
Yes.
It's like, how do I do this?
Yes, I know that.
I had to like reschedule with the guys who are here, and they're great. I was just like, gosh, it's people's times, dude.
It's moments like that where I'm glad this is happening now versus when I'm like, up there making the big bucks or what have you, shaking hands with some real people, and I tear it because I didn't learn that lesson beforehand. Right. So it's this weird like, I'm really glad I learned that, but
remember it. Remember the lesson. But you got all your stuff, so
yeah. I think. No, I'm just kidding.
If you make mistakes, you make mistakes. You know. So like, what can you do?
Improv.
We're only human. Yeah, exactly. Improv. Like there are mistakes to be made. And I'll be happy to make them if it means that I'm gonna be better tomorrow for it.
Period. I feel the same. I mean, this is
exactly
sometimes inviting them. It's a good test of character.
Shit, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Not inviting them, but like,
if it comes, I'll take care of that motherfucker. Like,
it's a great practice of character. Just like, what you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. I'll take care of it with my family. If they ever watch this video, they will comment and they will tell you. I'll handle it when it comes up.
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck mistakes anymore, dude.
I'll deal with it.
Ancient spaces, and my mistakes are so costly when I get in those anxious mistakes.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
yeah.
But look, for example, that stuff that happened with the mixer, and today I came super early. I probably got here I was gonna get here 8, but I got here at 10.
Still
10 a.m. And the first thing I did was set up the sound because that's what messed up yesterday.
Got it.
So start with the problem.
Square.
Boom. Okay, then that sounded good. I took some videos for social media that I didn't post, and
nice.
Then I got set up with the camera and everything. It was just like okay. And then everything else after that was like, all right, we're chill.
Yeah.
The podcast set up like this setup, cool. The problem arose when we were mixing in the performance. So I made sure I know which inputs your 2 inputs are going into, and I know that when I bust it out of there into my interface, it's gonna sound right.
Yes.
Like no extra noise.
Was it distorted kind of situation?
I think he was. Well, he said he was cranked up on his. I think he needed to turn his down.
It's
a little
mid.
Bit.
You gotta get it in the middle.
And then boost at the end. Get it to the low, little below mid, and then boost at the end.
Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or post-production. Like, why can't you just,
Or that,
you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't thinking like that yesterday. I was in my anxious, you know.
Yeah.
Today, I'm like I said, when I texted you yesterday, you know what I'm saying? What did I say? If we get a conversation, I'm cool with that.
I love that.
You know, like, if we don't get the performance, like, that's fine. Like,
whatever's clever. I got all day. I'm just going to OKC, gonna collab in the studio one more time. This is my last time in the city before I like relocate. So
exactly. So I'm so stoked. Like that was what I was saying to myself this morning too. After everything was like polished,
I'm grateful. Sorry for rescheduling like every 5 seconds too. I was like,
don't worry about it. No, stop. Shut up. Because if you'd have come yesterday, it would have been you. Like,
this
you know
is
what I'm
true.
saying?
This is true.
Yeah, I'll cut this out. Sorry, boy. Sorry, guys. But it would have been you. I'm glad it was.
We learning. We out here just going with the flow. But thank you for being flexible. I greatly appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah. Also, shout out to Karen. Karen, you can be out of the house. Like, and Ashe. And
yes.
So yeah, man. I'm glad it happened to them. And because I know you're about to leave, dude. So it's like I'm gonna get you on here, man. So
I'm grateful.
Conversation. I'm stoked. You know?
I'm grateful. I really am.
Stoked.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm glad you're here. Like, you're a dope individual, and that's like to get you in. This is like a new project for me. You know, this is like.
It feels pretty aligned,
I don't
you know.
Even know what this is. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Just let it happen, you know. I think conversation is really important around the arts. There's a lot of artists out there that have a lot to say, and sometimes they don't know how to say it, or they're not in a comfortable space to where it's like, you know, the pressure's on with a lot more eyes looking on them. But I appreciate the one-on-one to where it's like very stripped down, very real, authentic. So
that's all I am, man. Like, you know, go back to this. You'll remember what we said. It's all recorded. But like, yeah, dude, I want to get. That's the whole point of this, really, is to get into people, what they're doing, what their goals are. What are you doing, really? Yeah. Just have some fun, kick it, just be us, and like, you know, whatever comes from that comes from that. You know what I'm saying? Right. I want to get people out there.
Right. It's important.
Oklahoma,
you gotta represent.
You gotta represent. Look.
You know what I'm saying? You really do.
I found this rock. These are rocks that I found.
It's a nice rock.
This is, I forget where I found it. I think it was either Yosemite. Yosemite. I found that rock in Yosemite. Yeah. Yosemite,
California?
Yeah.
I was about to go stay there for like 2 months.
When?
Never been.
Like
this month.
Come on, we go bouldering.
It was like this.
Trying to go climb a rock.
Rain check on the Yosemite, but I was gonna go house sit over there. Yeah. But I ended up switching it up, moving to Austin.
Nice.
Which is still cool.
Yeah. Well, there's more people in Austin. People visit Yosemite. Yeah. Not in long term.
Absolutely. These are great rocks.
To touch all the little.
Yeah. Are you are these all Oklahoma shaped?
Those ones, yeah. I got that in Chile, in South America.
Wow, definitely. That's crazy too.
And they're found. Like, that's how I prefer to live my life. Like, you know, if it just shows up, right, then I'll take it. Right. You know, I will follow the sign. Right. To the end. It kind of like reveals itself to you, and it's like, this is. I'm like, where? This looks like Oklahoma. I'm taking this home. I'll leave all the other rocks. Yeah. Right in the heart. No, this is nice. It'll be a good. It also is like a. Could be that. I don't know. One. Okay. I don't know what that was. I was trying to. I'm just looking at the shape. It could be, you know, a lot of things. No, I'm not saying anything. Shake your medicine. Shake your medicine. I'm gonna shake it up. Good ways, yo. Actually, speaking of. I've been trying to come up. This is only like my second recording, so I'm like trying to come up with like a podcast thing, like you know, things like all my guests do when they show up. Like, I was thinking like this is the chalice that I got in Burning Man this year. You went to Burning Man? I went to Burning Man. No, how was it? That's crazy. Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to go. I had to. Well, don't get a burner talking about Burning Man. Okay. I mean, I'll be here for 12 hours. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. But long story short. If you could pack billions of synchronicities into 1 week, that's what Burning Man is. That's crazy. For whatever it is, you know. So one of my campmates, her name was her burner name, playa name was Chalice. Okay. And I didn't understand. I thought she didn't show up till like halfway through the week, because she was really only there for some temple stuff, which is a lot of people put, pictures of loved ones that passed on. A temple is very kind of more spiritual thing, whereas the burn of the man is more like a party thing with more energy.
Gotcha.
Opposites. So, but I was looking at her stuff, loading and unloading the truck. I was like, who is Chalice?
Chalice?
Chalice? And I never once said chalice. So it was like Chalice, shallow. Like I was
everything but.
I grew up black people too, so I'm like
really mixing it up.
Chalice?
Yeah.
I'm really like, who's Chalice?
Yeah.
I never once said chalice. So then she came maybe like on Thursday or something before the burn, and she had these for everybody, different chalices, like metal. So like
that's great.
Ring it, like flick it or do something. Like, that should be a thing, right? Yeah. Should I do that as the podcast thing?
That'd be great.
That'd be cool. Like everybody come in, and then before we start, just like ding.
Yeah. I think that it sounds great. You had an amazing year.
I had an amazing Burning Man trip, and like so that
was your first one.
Was my first one? Yeah.
Okay.
This was my first.
Yeah, this is beautiful. I think that's a great idea. This is the first. Wow. There you have it.
Well, you were the first one to do it, so how does that feel?
Feels right. Yeah, it's got like a resonance to it too.
Yeah, well, you got to tremolo it though. It seems like.
Yeah.
Because I want to do it.
Yeah.
Unless I shake it.
If you have it next to the mic, like I feel like. Ooh, yeah, like right down here. Maybe if you have like a little like wood.
Tip. I like it on the tip.
Yeah, the tip's nice too.
Tip's nice too.
That's a great book, by the way.
It is good. Yeah. I like the switch. Shaker medicine.
No, that's like one of the like the very first page of that book. I actually recited for a youth like convention. I did like this workshop, and I thought that first paragraph was like so powerful. Wow. Memorize it. It talks about like mouse and a lion and something. But I don't know if you read that.
I keep going back to it, and I'll read it at different points. Like I haven't read it all the way through yet, but like I will go to different parts of it. So sometimes I'll do stuff like random sign. Like
flip,
just open a book and just see what I land on.
Yeah. And then
that's my lesson for an hour or the day or whatever.
I love it.
But yeah, so I got this. That's really funny. How do you? What do you think about that? And like I posted the reel on Instagram, and this was because I'm sure
I saw that. And I was like, oh, okay. You on the level?
Yeah. I'm on what?
You on the level? You on the level? You on the level?
Which level it is? But you on the level somewhere.
You on the level? Yeah. I was like, okay, noted.
Okay, for sure. All right, cool. I love that, man. Yeah, that's super synchronistic.
Yes.
The dude the only artist that I've recorded so far, Chandler. So the people own this house. Basically, they do a lot of stuff in Bowie, Oklahoma. It's like a historically black town. Okay. And so, so they like do a lot of things over there. Community trying to get like tourism or like historical things documented before it goes away and stuff like that. So he is a photographer as well as a comedian or whatever. He walks in, sees like some of the photos, and he's like, "Hold on. Is this so-and-so's house?" I was like, "Yeah, you're standing in their house." He's like, "I got hired through some grant to be a photographer to take photos for some of the things that they were doing in Bowie." So he didn't know that. I didn't know that. Wow. He's just the first person who came through. Wow. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So sometimes signs will happen to me, and I'm just doing what I do, and someone's like, "Hey," he's like, "Is this blah 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 blah?" And then we like look at each other real slow, or I looked at him real slow because he didn't even realize what he had just said to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I know through some interesting like just family friend dynamics. Sweet. And so like this painting here, like she commissioned from me of her mom.
I love it.
During the height of the pandemic. Wow. I was still in California when she ordered that piece and had it sit here. So, wow. That thing's been here for like 2 or 3 years, some change. And none of this space wasn't on my radar as far as the podcast. I was just like planning and getting passionate about, just talking to other artists, and just I love learning what people are doing. And I can put you guys up on the internet, and if it's dope enough, then it just gets views. If it's cool enough, and I think it's such a cool idea that it's going to do a thing. But it's just weird how those little things come together, and like for me to be doing this podcast, for then to not be on my radar. I was talking to my uncle, and he was like, my Uncle Mark, shout out Uncle Mark, when I hit record, we're doing it. You know, I was brainstorming with him, and he's like, "You need a space, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's the only thing I need to kind of do this. You know, because I've got the lights, got the camera, I've
everything,
got the know-how, I can record, that's
yes,
blah blah blah. I can talk to people, can have some good time.
Yes,
but I need a space that's dope to kind of just next step legitimize it.
Yes,
and I just sat on that for a while. Like I was, was looking around, but I wasn't like too looking. And then the next time me and him met up to brainstorm, he was like, "Why don't you go ask Karen?" So I was like, "Why?" You know, he's like,
"Why?
Why?"
It wasn't like, okay. It was straight up.
Why?
Yeah.
What is she gonna do? Like, I know she got this painting from me. It's like, "Oh, that house," and I was like, and I know the house.
Yeah.
Because when I sent her the painting, she sent me photos of it being up, blah blah blah. But I didn't realize how close it was. You know,
so cool.
My grandfather's house is like 1 block that way.
Wow.
Westminster. Right? You know, he's passed a long time. My great aunt lives next to him, so that, you know, as far as, and I live like 5 minutes that way.
Wow.
So yeah, right. So as far as it being like a dope space here.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a dope space. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful space.
Yeah.
It's so conducive.
The horses outside. I have yet to meet those guys.
We'll get you out there. So
for sure.
We'll have some horse medicine before you do your performance.
Would love that.
Yeah, okay, we'll make that happen. Okay. So
would love it.
Yeah. So it's just wild that like all the things came together, and you know, I called her, and she's like, listening to the idea, you know. And she's like, "Yeah, you can use property, blah blah blah, we'll get whatever, but use property, no problem." I'm like,
yeah, working smarter, not harder, and letting the universe really just take care of it for you.
Yeah.
Randomly.
Yeah, dude.
Sitting back and letting it unfold as it needs to.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah. That's a blessing.
So, you know, then I come here and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that piece is here. It's been here for 2 years."
Yes.
Had, like, you know, senators and different people, like community leaders and people in here seen the piece.
Wow.
You know, talked about it, like, and then, you know, now I'm here doing my thing.
That's so cool.
And then the first person that I have on to come record did photography.
That's crazy.
Foley for their community.
That's crazy. That's full circle.
Like,
times like 4.
Yeah, dude. So when I went to Burning Man, talk about the billion of synchronicities. This is like my normal day-to-day life.
Yes.
And then when I go to Burning Man,
overload.
Even more. I'm just like, this is amazing.
That's what I've heard. I've never been, but I would love to go. You know.
We gotta get you going. You're going next year.
All right, let's go.
You going next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going next year.
Yeah, so for sure.
If you commit, then you're going. Are you
sure.
committed?
I'm pretty committed.
Are you pretty committed? Or are you committed?
I thought about it after I saw the images and video. I was just like, "Dang, that'd be good to go." I want to go. I just don't, you know.
Yeah, you're not committed.
I mean, like next year. The only reason why I'm not sure, there's not really a reason.
So look.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's get it.
No, I didn't say are you down. Very specific with my verb. You've been on the verbs all day today. You know what I'm saying? Enthralled.
Conglomeration.
Commitment. I don't know. It's our generation. We're all worried about commitment. But like, so get this.
We really do, though.
I teach at a music camp, or like a camp council at a music camp called Jam Camp, and in California. So I was there, and then after Jam Camp in July, I went and hung out with my friend Yulin and the group at the TLR. Shout out to you guys, I love you guys. Charles, Fancy Feast, David, Country, Gabby, everybody, all you guys I love you guys.
Love it.
Man, love them so much. So after Jam Camp, we're kicking it, and Yulin's community is just so. Yulin's the kind of guy that, like, he's super unassuming, and you wouldn't think two things about it. You might say, "That guy looks kind of quirky." That's what you might say.
Okay.
You know, if you were just like a regular person,
right?
You wouldn't know that this guy knows like freaking everybody for no reason, and he knows every almost up and coming, past up and coming, made it into some new stuff. Like, and he's just some random dude who just used to do coding, and now he does like, he builds sound systems for a living. Him and his friends build sound systems.
That's cool.
Him and Mike. So, and they're amazing sound systems. Like, dude's really dialed in. He really knows what he's doing. He knows what he's
Respect.
doing.
Respect.
Doing. So, anyways, after jam, we're chilling at his house, and he's got some people like friend Cassie, who's from Atlanta but is living in Denmark. She's like got a PhD, gonna be working with Lego and do some other things.
Ooh,
super
okay.
cool. And then another woman named Erin.
Okay.
So she does a Black Burner project, and she had got the highest honorarium that Burning Man organization gives out for artwork out there. So it's like $50,000 grant. But she was also funding and doing other things. She was trying to build 3 30-foot structures of Black people on the desert.
Wow.
A majority white event. So
yes,
this past few years, they've been really pushing more diversity in terms of like giving gift tickets out, or not low income, but like, you know, that's like just like giving discounted tickets out. So just like you can come if there's a barrier, just show up.
That's what's up.
So this is how we can make it happen. So, but that's separate. Her art was just insane, 30-foot tall pictures of Black people based off her photographs. And they were structures. They were just super freaking cool. It was just insane.
Wow.
But, you know, I didn't know that she was just sitting on Yulin's couch.
Yeah, chilling.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
chilling. And we had just been chilling the whole day. We were chilling at TLR in the music studio, watching them build and just hang out. And after everybody got tired, we went back to the house chilling. But she looked me at some point in the night. She looked me dead in the eye.
Okay.
Dead in the eye. No breaking in eye contact. She said, "Are you committed to going to Burning Man?" And I did the same shit you did. The same shit you're doing right now. Squirming, bro. Straight squirming. I was like, I don't know. She was like, "If you're committed, you'll go." And then I think after she said the second time, I kind of I picked up there was something deeper going on. You know. Yeah. So she goes, "Committed." Maybe like 2 weeks later, I get a free gift ticket.
Damn. So it's like that. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's like once you commit.
Stars line. Period.
Dude. If I have this in my bag right now, then I'll read it to you.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it happens like that more times than not. It's like, oh.
Right. Well, actually, it's funny. I don't have it. But that doesn't matter because the point still stands.
Yes.
When I went to Burning Man.
Are these your Burning Man goggles?
Yes. That's why they're all dusty.
Got it. No, it's the aesthetic. It's all making sense now.
Yeah.
It's all making sense.
What do you mean?
Just the goggles at first, I was like, oh, you know, usually Airbnbs have like random little things to accentuate the space.
This
but
is all me. Except for this. Yeah. This right here, that's Karen's. I commandeered that for
good.
The table. But all this other stuff, like, you know, yesterday, that was one of those things. I didn't personalize the space. Like today, I was like, if we're going to do it.
Little something.
Yeah. We got little fidget toys and, you know, gifts and points. Because all these things are either gifts or things that I bought or use.
Got it.
You know.
Just have around.
Yeah. Like
part of you.
Found this at Yosemite. Yeah. This box is from Bali.
Ooh.
This egg is from an estate sale.
Ooh.
So I didn't pay for that. That's like, I used to work estate sales in California.
That's fun.
But the box is from Bali.
You've been to Bali.
Yeah, I've been to Indonesia.
That's dope.
I've been to Europe twice.
I love that. Ooh, this is heavy.
Twice. Yeah, nice. Jasper.
Man, $2. Got some coins. What's this bracelet from? It's got a shark tooth on it.
Let me see. That's also from Bali.
Lovely.
Just left it in there. And,
love it. How the egg has a little cushion, you know?
Yeah. It's like my little fortune egg.
That's great.
Gift. Honestly, that was a gift from it's a little weird. It's a gift from an ex, but like, it's cool. We're cool.
It's chill.
It's cool.
It's chill.
I mean, we're not cool, but we're cool.
Yeah. Like, you meet over there, I'll meet over here. We vibe in respectfully.
I agree. We're cool. I'm sure she's cool with me, but I'm not necessarily cool with her. But I still love, like, you know what I mean?
The story. You know, you share good memories with people, and sometimes people are meant to stay, sometimes they're not, and that's chill.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
This is cool. What kind of crystal?
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you. It's just, I think
I couldn't either.
She got it from somebody who was selling crystals. Clearly, it's like farmers market. They just have table out type of thing. And they were like, they didn't have any other stuff. And then she was about to leave, and I guess the person was like, "Hey, actually, I do have this crystal." And for whatever reason, let her buy that day because they weren't going to sell it to her at first.
Hey, It's meant to be. It's here now.
It's here now.
Yeah.
Super random.
Yeah.
Let's see what else I have in here. I got random music instruments if you want to use. I actually brought these also. So
I wanted to try that.
Yeah, if you want to use that.
I've never used this before. You just shake it?
Basically, you could also like put your hand on it and go like, you know.
Ooh, okay.
So you have a little bit more control.
I'm definitely going to use these. Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so you can kind of.
I feel that.
You can do both. You can play around.
I can't wait. Are we going to have like a jam session? For sure?
For sure.
Okay,
I mean, like,
okay.
I wish I had my pedal, but like, you know, even though I don't have my pedal. I can do mad rhythm on this.
Whoever has it now, I hope their day is.
I hope they try to pawn it.
Yeah.
That's what I hope they try to
Does
do.
it have like serial number kind of situation on it
Well,
where they're like looking, or you can type it in?
When you came in, I was on the phone with the cops to just report it. Still.
Yeah. When you said my day was like horrible, I was like, oh.
And I looked happy about it.
Yeah. You were like still like there, and I was like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah, there's a dichotomous relationship between feeling bad but also being present.
This is true.
Yeah, sometimes I want to. I was talking to my friends. Sometimes you want to let things get you down, but then you can't be there for the little things that are happening.
Right.
It's happening right now. That happened.
It did happen, and there's other pedals that exist. You know.
Right. And then hey,
lots of them.
Sometimes I get lucky, and shit comes back to me. You know?
Yeah. I was gonna say, shoot, I'll give if I have like extra things laying around and it feels like it's time to like pass it on to someone else that needs it. It's like just that's yours now. Mm-hmm. It's chill.
Exactly.
So
super chill. So I think we will. I think we will definitely have like a jam session. I'll probably be playing like some.
You said
some
rhythm on that bad
we'll
boy.
play some like
Love
Brazilian. We'll do some like
I can't wait.
Brazilian vibes, and then you can just solo over it.
Yeah.
And then we'll switch or whatever.
I'm down. I got my whole setup.
That was so good.
Absolute good stuff. A whole hour, yo? Felt like 35